Hello, everybody. Welcome to a special Thursday edition of the Tracy Show. I know you haven't seen this show in a long time. I told you all it was going to be sporadic till 2026. So, this is a special episode. I did not put the topic in there. That's my fault. But before I get started, we're going to pay some bills here. Hit that subscribe button. I'm up to 376. 376. That means I'm 24 away from 400, which means that makes me 600 away from 1,000. You all know that 1,000 is the goal for this year. Subscribing is literally free. Doesn't cost you a dime. But speaking of dimes, you can always support me on Patreon. Less than 7 cents a day. That's less than a dime. You spend more at Starbucks. Um, it will help me get lights because I need new lights, y'all. And I'm trying to get some better equipment. Um, and of course, I still need that one more person to go over to Rumble and hit that follow button so I can start podcasting on Rumble. I know people are going to say Rumble's conservative. No, I want to be everywhere. So hit that follow button on Rumble. I'm going to let my guest, who's actually a returning guest, talking about a completely different subject, introduce herself. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kalia Fitzgerald. I am the co-chair of the Black Caucus of the North Carolina Green Party, and I do a lot on the North Carolina Green Party side as well as the Green Party U.S. side. And I am happy to be here and talk about some things that a lot of people might not know about today.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to see you. We had such a great time the last time, and it's been a while since I've talked to you. So, this subject, I've been wanting to talk about Cop City for the last 2 years. I mean, I've been trying to find people and trying to find people and trying to find people because I believe this is such a vital issue that doesn't get nearly the attention that it deserves. So, I'm going to tell you what I think Cop City is, and
Okay.
then you can come back and correct everything that I just said because I'm pretty sure I'm going to get something wrong. So I understand, to my understanding, Cop City is a place where police officers go to receive training.
Technically, that is the basics of it.
Okay, that's the basics, but I bet there's a whole lot more to what I'm saying. And from my understanding, also, at least the one in near Atlanta, Georgia, they came in and just wiped out like a whole bunch of residential um, homes and land and all those things.
So it's about 400 acres of the South River Forest that they actually wiped out. And it was built on ancestral land that became um, a slave plantation as well as a prison labor farm. So it's pretty bad, and it's really messed up the ecological system down there as well.
Whose idea was Cop City? Like, who sat there and thought, you know what? Oh, another thing I missed. Aren't they getting their training from like the IDF?
Yes, so there's a
Okay, that's
mixture
what.
of
Okay, okay.
mhm,
Yeah. So you all don't know. I think IDF stands for Israeli Defense
force.
Force. Thank you. I'm like, it
Well,
stands
we
for
call them the IOF because they're not defending themselves against anything,
yeah. They're
believe it or
basically getting terrorism all over the place. But hey, that's just my opinion.
not. Right. So
Um,
IOF is just the opposite, Israeli offensive force, or something like that, because they're not defending themselves at this point. They're really not.
right. And so, whose idea? Okay, let me backtrack before I start. I'm trying not to go on rants. Yeah, yeah. No, I get on these rants and I just go and I'm trying. I'm really trying to listen to people who I invite on because they know more than I do about these things. But whose idea was this? Who sat down and thought, you know what? Like police academy wasn't enough. So let's just take out all these people's home and destroy ancestral land and let's just do this because this makes sense. like, don't we give police enough training when they go through academy, or is it something? I feel like I'm missing something.
Well, it was the brainchild of the Atlanta Police Foundation, and they get money from private donors and corporations. And it's not just about police training, they're doing counterterrorism training. So they're basically um, the way that you see what's going on in Gaza right now and how the IOF soldiers operate in Gaza, that's the same way they're being trained to do things at this cop city. They basically call them mini Gazas because a lot of the things that have happened over the year in Gaza are things that you will eventually see other cop cities do. So, kind of like what you're seeing happening in LA right now with the militarization for all the demonstrations, this is the stuff that they're going to be doing. It's not going to be military anymore doing this stuff like they had to call in the Marine Corps. They are basically militarizing our police force to use the tactics of soldiers.
I'm trying not to go off on a rant. I just
Go
really
ahead.
am. I just really am because this, and I bet you I got money on it. The mayor's Democrat, right? How
Mhm.
did I know this? How did I even guess this? Why? Why is it always this party? This no, I don't even want to call them oligarchy. This piece of trash party. That's what I'm gonna call them. Piece of
Yeah.
trash party. And let me guess this. I don't want to say it because it's on my heart, but I gotta say it. Do the people, are they of our racial background? The ones that are yeah.
Well, see, it's a mix, but a lot of them are. And the thing about it is, when they build these things, they build them in urban communities. So they're building them around the same people that they're going to use these tactics against. Because we know the police don't go after certain demographics. We know that already. So you're putting it in these places and it's an intimidation tactic.
I,
Yeah.
I knew you guys like, please don't say it's black council people for this. Please say they're standing up. Please, no, no.
Because
I
the money is all there.
it talk about, and y'all got to forgive me because I haven't done a Thursday show in so long. Y'all used to seeing my Justice is Here podcast on Saturdays and me just going in. So I'm trying to like reserve myself, but I don't understand. Why is this needed? What reason did they give? I don't understand. Usually when when someone gives a we want to build a prison, it's usually maybe there's more people going to prison. Yeah, I know they put those prisons in there and the whole educational pipeline, we're going to ignore all that. But okay, they're giving a reason. Not a good one, but they're giving a reason. Did they ever come to the community and say, hey, this is why we need to build it because crime is like out of control and there's drug cartels or too many immigrants? Like, did they ever give any type of reason why they were wanting to do this cop city?
Not a good reason. It was just, oh, our cops need more training so they can efficiently serve the community, which is always the line that they do. And the thing is, if you know anything about Atlanta, that's like the Black Mecca in the US. And when you have more Black people in one population, then you're going to start to see these cop cities. So it's not just in Georgia, it's where it started. But they tried one in North Carolina near Durham, but the NC Block shut that down. And they're trying now, and you know who the mayor in New York is. They're trying to get one in New York as well. These things are moving forward, but they're moving forward in places that have a high Black population.
And
So you know
yeah,
what it's about.
that sounds intentional to me. Now, I'm not the brightest of bright people, but that just sounds intentional to me. It's like, let's just, and then, or, how can I phrase this question where it's going to make sense to me? When they're getting this training, like, what are they using the training for? Like, what are they, like, what is it that they're preparing for? Like, what is it?
After George Floyd and the riots that happened even during COVID, that's what they're doing this for, to be able to have the police handle the situation, because you can't always call the National Guard in, you can't always call the military in. So it is to stifle your right to protest and free speech.
Which is guaranteed by the Constitution.
No, I mean, it says that it's guaranteed by the Constitution, but really is it? Because your free speech is being bought and paid for. I mean, look at the music industry. They have not spoken out against things that are going on. You have barely, some of them are speaking out, but most of them, they have contracts and they can't speak out under their contracts. So our freedom of speech is really bought and paid for a lot of times.
And as soon as you said the mayor was Democrat, I'm like, this is always in cities where there's large black populations. I just thought Atlanta was the only cop city. But you named some. I just thought, oh, well, that's just Atlanta. That would never come into Indianapolis. That's not, because we only have like, what, 33% of black people live in Indianapolis. I'm like, this probably, but I better take that back because, oh my goodness, I'm thinking, yeah, this could probably work. We have a Democratic mayor. We have a Democratic city council, pretty much does whatever the mayor tells them to do. But I, oh boy, I'm trying not to get frustrated, yeah, because this is very frustrating. And I know, like, when did people start organizing around this to say, no, we don't want this a
Before
part of
they
our
even
community?
broke ground, before they broke ground, as soon as they started talking about it at the city council meetings, they were already a part of it. Someone died in 2023. Let me see if I can find a name. Give me just a second, because I don't want to. Manuel Terran, he died in 2023 when they were demonstrating against Cop City. So there's blood on these people's hands already before.
Wasn't there something about the bail money for protesters and they didn't want to? Could you explain that? Because I didn't quite understand what was happening with that.
So they tried it under a RICO. They tried to put it under a RICO charge. So what was happening? The demonstrators were going out there just like any other protests that happens sometimes. And usually when they're under organization, or if they have, some backing to it, they will have people that are able to give them money for their bail. Or people, they'll put out things to say, if you donate here, this will help get so and so out of jail for the demonstration we did or whatever. So they were trying to charge the organization with the RICO charge, saying that they were aiding and abetting criminals. And if you get stuck with a RICO charge, that's horribly bad.
Wait a minute. I'm going to repeat what you just said because that sounds like some stupidity to me. So, the district attorney of Atlanta said, I'm going to charge you with RICO charges, which, and to my knowledge, only goes for like crime syndicates, right? That's usually where RICO charges go. But they're charging organizations that are just posting bail money,
Mm-hmm.
not crime or not crime syndicates, just bail money. What?
I mean, it's the same. RICO was the same thing that P. Diddy was charged with, and he got away, and I don't know how. But you're trying to compare this type of person to people who are just helping people get out on bail so that they can go back and live their lives so they don't lose their jobs.
What's the point of keeping them in jail?
Well, the thing about that is it deters people from continuing to act.
And I know that's a dumb question, but I'm like, if you have too many people, because jail and prison are different. Everybody, jail, you just go in, you get out. Prison, you gonna be there a while. So
Mm-hmm.
were they hoping to eventually put them in prison? What was the plan behind? Because this makes nobody said, this sounds illegal. This sounds illegal to me.
Oh, they do, but nobody listens to them because they have political backing, they have financial backers. And when I'm saying financial backers, they have Chick-fil-A, which I don't know why any black person still goes to Chick-fil-A.
They're overpriced and
Coca-Cola.
their chicken is dry.
Coca-Cola, who sold out the immigrants in their own plants. So, and, let me back up on Coca-Cola real quick. Um, so, do most of your family members that drink Pepsi or Coke?
See, we're cheap. We go for those off-brand sodas.
Okay, so that's understandable. I'm glad about it. So, if you look back on the history of Pepsi and Coke, you'll see that a lot of our elders they drink Pepsi, and the reason why that they were doing that is because in the beginning they started drinking Coke, but Coke was started catering to the upper crowd, and Pepsi started doing more for the Black community, like literally pouring into the Black community, having them on ads and things like that. So a lot of the older generations, they actually drink Pepsi because they remember what happened with Pepsi and Coca-Cola. So now seeing how Coca-Cola is doing with the immigrants and spending money towards Cop City, it's like, why are they not out of business? You got Home Depot, Delta Airlines, UPS, all these places are funding it.
And I'm assuming taxpayer money is also going
Oh,
for
oh,
this.
oh, yes.
How much taxpayer money is going towards this?
Let me see. 30 million,
Okay, and how much private money is going towards this?
up to 85 million.
So this is a government government mix
Mm-hmm.
with private contributing more than so I bet they're going to the we save taxpayers money
Mm-hmm.
argument.
Mm-hmm. Always. They always do that because it makes people feel safe. When you say, especially when Black people say, "Oh, I live on a safe side of town. I live in a safer neighborhood. We have, police patrolling. We don't have to worry about those things." It it gives them the argument to do these things. So that's why I don't like. It doesn't matter where you are. Like, if you're saying that stuff, it's a sound bite for somebody. They can use it to say, and this is why we need places like Cop City to mitigate all this stuff that's going on. And I guarantee you, after Beyonce's stuff got stolen out of her choreographer's car, they're going to really harp on, oh, yes, this is why we need Cop City, because we need to get the theft down in Atlanta. All these things that happen, they're going to continue to say that's
So
bad.
I'm about to say a dumb argument. This is not a dumb argument. That's what police are for, right? You don't need to be trained by the IDOF. I think that's what you called it.
IOF.
IOF, thank you.
Hmm.
IOF to do a basic police job to address theft.
No.
That's basic police function.
Hmm.
Right now you need this specialized terroristic genocide committing training. Like what
Hmm.
I oh my goodness. I
Yes. And the thing about it is, um, when you actually look at it, police go to police academies and they train. They train how to do things. But what they're not trained on is the law. They're not trained on mental health. They're not trained on the basic needs of the actual citizen. When they say serve and protect, it is misconstrued for us to believe they're serving and protecting us, but they're really serving and protecting the government and corporations because that's who mainly fund them. So it's not us that they're ever going to really protect and serve. They're the ones that are always coming after us. They're not saving us most of the time. And we can clearly see that when you hear with the police incidents and how they cover it up and how domestic violence runs rampant in police communities. It is very high. There is domestic violence, there is substance abuse, corruption, all types of things, and it gets swept under the rug. It's like they are the biggest domestic thugs outside of the military because they're international. So you can't really call them domestic.
oh my goodness. This really I mean I don't know whether I should. I have this no cussing rule on my platform, and I don't cuss. But boy, this is getting me real close because this is just if they thought about it, like if you sit and think about it, even if you are just unaware of the IOF and what they're doing, just on a basic sense, you already provide so now you're going to go into these communities. destroy ancestral land, which again sounds illegal to me. I don't know how they got the permits to do that, but we all know money can do a lot of things. And they just thought people were just gonna sit there and be like, yes, of course, yes. Take
Hmm.
our ancestral land. Sure, okay, fine.
It's there, you can see how different people are treated by how it affects the elite. Just like with the Luigi Mangione case, you see how he's getting these terrorism charges and he's with the death penalty. But you have other people who haven't done who have done worse. Basically, they have multiple. I wouldn't call them serial killers, but they have multiple murders on their hand, and they have done much worse than he has. They don't get terrorism. They're not on the death penalty, and it's because the fear is put into the elite anytime that happens. So even with this Cop City thing, when you're stopping them, what charges are they getting faced with? Terrorism charges. They're not getting just faced with you know what does it call it, stopping the police from doing their duties or anything like that. They are literally facing terrorism charges.
And
What is
that's yeah,
terroristic about
that's federal charges now.
it? Right.
Because when you talk about there's a difference between, oh, the speed limit is 35 and I decided I'm gonna just gun it, it goes 65.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you that's a local thing, but when you add terrorism, this is what I want everybody to understand. Terrorism, that's federal. We're talking about if you're found guilty, you sure enough going to prison. Forget
Mm-hmm.
jail, wipe that off the bat. Just wipe that clean. And I can imagine back on these RICO charges because I'm still just trying to trip off of why Atlanta keeps using RICO charges when I don't think they literally apply. I mean, how many episodes? I don't want to sound silly when I say this, but dang, you don't have to watch episodes of Matlock or any court show to know that sometimes these RICO cases don't apply to what they're actually for. Again, RICO, from my understanding, is for crime syndicates, not for
Mm-hmm.
people. Oh, we're going to just give them bail. I mean, that's like saying, you get arrested for protesting Cop City, and I call, our cousins, like we related, but okay, we are. But I say, hey, cousins, let's get her out of jail. They gonna put all of us in jail for RICO charges, or is it because they're a nonprofit that why they're doing it?
Well, it is from a nonprofit, so that's where some of it came from. But the thing about it is, it's not just the organization that would be under the RICO charge. It would be anybody who sent money to them. So if you sent $1 to have them being bailed out,
So they
then
want them
you're
to
in
stay
that
in
RICO too.
jail. This makes no sense. It's
Mm-hmm.
like they're setting this bill, and let's just say the bill is, I don't know, $10,000. Well, usually, if I'm right, because I've never been arrested, you don't have to come up with the whole $10,000. You come up with a portion.
If you get a bail bondsman.
If you get a bail bondsman, and
Mm-hmm.
then a bail bondsman costs money to get.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just so let's just say you find a bail bondsman, which is going to cost you money. So everybody gets their money together. You can get RICO charges for hiring the bail bondsman to get a portion of the bail.
You can. The point is that if you or if anybody helped you, that organization helped you get out, you're in for if you're a part of that organization, you are involved in this RICO. So if I myself sent $10 to that organization or that individual for their bail money, then I'm a part of the RICO now.
That makes no sense.
Correct.
That literally, I'm like, this can't be legal. This cannot be legal. That makes no sense to me. I'm like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, huh? That's why I keep going back to it because I'm like, well, wait a minute. You're telling me this, and I'm still like, I believe you. I believe you're not lying, but it's like my mind is having a hard time receiving it because it makes no sense to me. I'm like, okay, it did.
Well, there was 116,000 signatures on a referendum to stop what they were doing with charging these people with domestic terrorism. but the city council shut it down.
Gee, I wonder why.
Hmm. Even
And
though you
that,
have signatures from your constituents, you still shut it down.
what is the thought? And I know you're Green Party, I'm Justice for All Party, but we can work on political. What's the thought in primarying some of these Democratic yahoos? Because I know I know Atlanta is mostly Democrats. I can't imagine that there's a
Mm.
lot of Republicans elect. I may be wrong. I don't know. I don't live in Georgia. What's the thought about primarying these people and making them pay for this? Has there been a movement to do that?
Well, you still have the lesser of two evils thought in a lot of people. They're like, well, even though they're not great, I would rather have them than a Republican. I mean, if we look at what's going on in New York, you can see that even though the Democrats were all like vote blue no matter who, now that the city, the mayor is like up and he's not somebody that they wanted, even though he's running under a Democrat ticket, they're like, I don't know if we're going to do the vote blue no matter who anymore. So if they primary somebody, it's kind of like you might go in circles, and he's definitely not going to get the same amount of money as an established Democrat would who might run as an independent. So you're still taking a risk either way it goes around until the people really wake up and say, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, because I think that's where we have to start making our government starts local. Yeah, I'm gonna say something everybody should know. I'm like, make these people pay. You're gonna sit here and tell me you're gonna support taking ancestral land. That to me is the biggest offense. First of all, you already started off wrong when you had the discussion in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Then you went and said, you know what? I'm going to ignore all these signatures. I'm going to ignore all of these protesters. I'm assuming they didn't meet with you. I'm assuming they didn't say, hey, let's sit down at the table and discuss this. I'm pretty much going to just assume that didn't happen.
Right.
I know I'm correct. I don't have to have no, like, basically, you didn't have to tell me because I know I'm correct. Make these people play. Y'all, they playing in y'all faces. They playing in y'all faces. They keep doing the same thing because they know you're going to go do that. Well, I'd rather have.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather not have. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have somebody that's going to run with decency, integrity, and actually listen to constituents and not be like, hey, Chick-fil-A gave me a nasty overpriced chicken sandwich and $7 million. They chicken sandwiches, they are dry.
I
They're
have
dry.
with a passion. I have not eaten at Chick-fil-A in so long, and I will not. I'm a I'm a firm believer in BDS, the boycott, divestment, sanction, and you know Chick-fil-A is one of my biggest. I will not. I
Wait a
put a
minute.
middle finger up when I
Is
pass by
Walmart
them.
is Walmart a part of that list of corporations that gave?
I don't know specifically if Walmart is on that list for Atlanta, but they might be on the list for either Texas or Florida because they're getting in California because they're coming there too, or New York. But Walmart is never not behind something as
That's why
nefarious.
I'm like they're usually somewhere in the
But
mix.
but sometimes it doesn't come from Walmart itself. Sometimes it'll come from the founders, daughters, or whoever's running it at the time. So there are ways to get around it so they don't seem that they are until it's too late. But as of right now, they're not specifically mentioned, but it does not mean that they are not involved some type of way because I
Right.
guarantee you they are.
And I wonder, like, when you're, because I haven't been to a good protest in so long, because I'm at the point, and I know I shouldn't feel this way, but sometimes I feel like, why am I showing up?
Mm.
Why am I showing up? Nothing's ever going to change. Don't feel like that, everybody. That's the wrong thing to do. I'm telling you now, I'm wrong. I was wrong when I felt this way. But when you've put in all the work and all the education, and you still get a cop city being built, how did the group regroup to say, okay, they're there, so now we're going to do X, Y, and Z?
Well, that's what I think about it is you have to have a plan the whole way through. You have to think about, okay, they're going to do it, so we have to take action. It's getting done, we still have to take action. Even while it's right here in front of our faces, we still have to take action. And that action could look like building your own community forces that help in the community rather than having those police officers come in the community and do things. That could really look like telling your city council that we need mental health training for these officers before they get to come into our community, because there's too many times where disabled people are killed, or I don't know if I have to say unalived, I'm sorry, but they are taken out by the police because they don't understand the person's having a mental breakdown, and instead they just get trigger happy and do what they do, or they just don't like color the person's skin, so they do what they do.
That's another core problem that I have with policing in general, because I know why the police were founded. Don't trip out here, America. The police were found to get cap to capture slaves. That was their function. Look it up, Google it, and check me and see if I'm right. And it's like they just say, "Hey, KKK, come and work for us."
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's what they're saying. And you're right. That's where the problem lies. Is like, stop when they're doing this training. I don't know what you all would have to do to make them understand. Hey, stop being so trigger happy. Like, you're just pulling that trigger for no reason. And when you don't have to recognize, oh, this person is having a mental health issue, and get them the psychiatrist or the therapist or somebody that can immediately address that need, instead of, oh, well, we'll just unalive them and that'll solve it.
And that's why I'm saying when you're doing something and you're actually organizing instead of just going out there rah rah rah, you're gonna have a plan to continue to make that movement happen. And that plan a lot of times includes mutual aid. It's going to include, community support. And a part of that community support saves you from having to deal with the police in that manner. Just like we saw when those KKK members came out and they were on the bridge looking all happy and everything. And then the black people were like, oh, well, we got guns too. We can come out here all we want to. And then they started patrolling their streets. And then they started doing this. And that should have been things that we have been doing because we know each other. And it's not just saying just our community. It's saying that if you want your community to be safe from what's going on, then you're going to have to put the work in. You're going to have to know thy neighbor, because your neighbor may be the difference between life and death for you. I don't want my neighbor just peeking out the door. I want my neighbor to say, hey, what's going on? Like, my neighbor down the street brought us 2 plants already for the year, made sure we would be able to eat off of those plants. It's gardening, because I couldn't do gardening this year. The other neighbor, our lawnmower went out, and he was like, hey, just use my lawnmower. We have those community connections so that we can be safe. The kids in the street, we all know we're going to watch out for the kids because we're in this community. And other communities need to do that too, so they don't have to worry about it. I've never seen a cop in my area, not once. We don't have anything going on, and I'm happy about that, because we police ourselves, and it's not in a bad way. We're like, hey, did you see this on this? And we're there together. We talk to each other. It's not about who's better, who's worse, or anything like that. It is about safety. I want my kids to be safe, so I need you to know which house my kid belongs to. So if you see them going off to some other person in a van, you can come to my house and tell me what's going on. That's the important thing. So even if Cop City is built, that does not negate your obligation to be there for your community. And if we don't stop these things, just like what's going on with Cop City, just like what's going on with the ICE, we can't sit back, because everybody knows being Black in America means everything is going to fall to us at some point in time.
It
That is
always does.
exactly like trying to take away the birthright citizenship. All of this is always going to fall back on us. So sitting out, I understand we're tired. I understand we're upset. I understand that we feel like we have done our due diligence and we are going to sit back and watch it burn. The only thing is that we are going to be in that fire and we are going to suffocate ourselves. So we can't stop. And I've been out there since I was born, so I know what tired looks like. I am 40 years of tired, but I'd rather be 40 more years of tired than have my children be slain in the streets.
And see, she's just 40 years tired. I'm 51 years tired, right? And you know, when people, yeah, this is going to get slightly off the subject, but it's going to get back to Cop City. I get why black people are tired,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it seems like we're always called to save everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, if you watch TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
you see a lot of black people like, well, who's going to save us? And I'm like, the person in the mirror is going to save you. It's you that's going to save you. You save you and you save someone else, right? You don't just save yourself because you obviously you have to start with yourself. But if nobody advocates for people who are taken in, who were taken away by Cop City, who
Mm-hmm.
are now in what, Alligator Alcatraz or whatever it's called in
Exactly.
Florida now. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's you're right. It's not only going to come to us, it's already. I mean, we've been under attack since we were brought here illegally.
Exactly.
And so I get why black people are mad, but yeah, we can't do that. We
Yeah.
cannot do that. Our children's future is on. And I hear people, oh well, I'm a citizen. Yeah, it's illegal to deport you, but that doesn't mean that this administration is going to obey the law.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you have to watch for. People, there are politicians on both sides because
That's what.
people say I don't criticize Republicans. So here's my I'm criticizing Republican stance. On both sides that don't care about you. They don't care about your children. They don't care whether you're in prison. Matter of fact, they want more people in prison. That's why they keep building so many of them.
And it's not just prisons either. They want disabled people in institutions as well.
Making it illegal to be homeless in a sense,
Mm-hmm.
putting them in it's this whole systematic. Money is the root of all evil. And when you
Basically, one way or another, you're either going to be a working citizen or like outside in the world, or you're going to be a working citizen on these prison farms. So get it together.
cheap labor,
Exactly. Back to slavery, because that's all it is.
yep, and that's what I really want people to get. And yes, we're focusing on the black community, but that could go for, that definitely goes for our non-white communities, like other communities like Asian, Haitian, I keep saying Asian, but you know what I mean, just to
Mhm.
expand that. But I want to talk about something else you said because wait a minute, somebody's got a comment here that I think is really, really good.
Okay.
So this says, wait a minute, hold on a second. Let me get this up here. This says, I hear we are tired a lot, but I still challenge what are we tired of? If you're tired without personal effort and still not man enough to stand up, then you're really just lazy. Ain't that the truth? That is, that is, it ain't the gospel, but it's showing up the truth. That is so true.
Mhm.
You just not doing nothing. You're like, okay, I'm just gonna go to Coachella. No,
Right.
you're gonna have to do a little bit more than no, no, no. But
Mhm.
you talked about something that I think we're gonna disagree on what I'm going to bring up. And don't yell at me. But you said that celebrities are not speaking.
Some of them.
Some of them did not speak out against Cop City. I would contend, who cares if they do? I literally don't care what a celebrity thinks. I don't run my life towards what they think politically. I don't care who they endorse. I don't care what they're for or against. Do you boo and keep it moving? Because I know what I'm for and I know what I'm against. Why? Do you think I'm wrong? And second, why do you think I'm wrong in that?
I don't think you're wrong. I don't care about what celebrity. I have blocked so many celebrities. I couldn't care less what a celebrity thought. That's that's how I am. What they do, I do not care about. because they're not living my life. They're not in this world right here fighting for the same things I'm fighting for
Right, because it
sometimes.
seemed like people were really critical of celebrities. And I'm like, yo, we don't need them to do it. I mean, it's good if they come. Don't get me wrong. It's good if they get active. They're citizens. They can speak up. They have rights to free speech. They can protest. They can do all that. But just because they don't show up doesn't mean I don't show up.
But see, here's the difference. For me, it started with Beyonce, and that was the first person I blocked. And I'm gonna tell
Okay,
you
wait a minute. Look here, Beehive. I'm
why.
gonna just give a clip to the Beehive because I've criticized the Beehive and I've gotten emails. Listen to what she about to say. Go ahead.
Now, I will maintain that I have been a member of the Beehive for a long time. So you can come at me if you want to, but you're gonna have to come at me with some discography because we're gonna go down. I've been at last concert I went to hers was Renaissance, so you have to understand. I'm a B fan. However, when her movie came out, she had the opportunity, she had the chance not to show her movie in Israel while they're bombing Gaza. And they in Gaza didn't have a movie theater to watch her on. There are black celebrities who said in their contracts, don't put my movie over there. So she had that ability, but she didn't do it. So to me, that shows me who you are supporting. You can't say, oh, it was in my contract because you're Beyonce. A contract
Right.
doesn't happen without you. So I cannot support you because I don't want my money going towards that. I won't buy your albums. I won't watch nothing of yours. I have deleted all her stuff off everything I have. And that's why it's important to know what celebrities are doing because I want to know where my money is going. I don't care about all the other stuff. But if I'm boycotting, divesting, and sanctioning people, it's not just going to be corporations, it's going to be people too. So that's my point.
Because I know, and I'm not going to get this rapper's name right because I can't stand modern rap. I'm just more of an 80s rap girl. That 80s was the greatest decade ever. So I know them. These new ones, Magic, not Magic Mike. That was a movie. Oh my goodness. What's his name? Something Mike. Something Mike. Big Mike. He's the activist. He was a Bernie bro. Um, African American, kind of heavy set.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember his name either.
Y'all,
But
if y'all can think of who
he's,
it is I'm talking about, put it in the comments because I'm sitting here like, I know his real name is Mike Bender. I know his real name. I don't know his stage name. I'm sitting there like, oh, Killer Mike. That's his name. Thank you, Michael Pan.
Killer
That's
Mike.
it,
Yeah.
Killer
Mm-hmm.
Mike. People were coming down hard on him. I mean, hard. And I'm like, well, he works in the community, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't he work in the community? But people came down on him and Ti and
Yeah,
then Tyler Perry got smoked for. I mean, people were
he
just
deserved it.
like outraged.
All of them deserved it. Well deserved. Snoop, well deserved. All
But
of them.
some of them live in Atlanta, right?
No, well, most of them they live in L.A. But like Snoop lives in L.A., I believe. But I don't care where you live. We're black everywhere. Okay, so if you're moving from place, if you're going to do a show someplace, then you have to think about the resources you're taking up and things like that, and how the community now has to move around you. And it's just like, okay, well, if that's the case, if you're being in these cities and you're going there and you're saying the city's name while you're rapping and stuff like that, do you really care about the people in that city? You just care about the money you're getting from the people in that city. And that's the difference for me because I'm not going to give you any money if you are
And I ain't got
sitting
that much
here
of it
being
in the first place.
right.
For Marlon, hello Marlon, thank you for coming in. So he says, Theus, they are tired of hearing about it. Well, heck, we're tired of living it. And them are the ones that are working to stop it. It's not going to go away just because we're tired of hearing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Another one from Theus. Any consideration for the fact that Bay and Jay put their money and work in our community by bailing out and funding legal support for Black activists? How do you prioritize with so much going on? Now, that's a good question for you to answer because I did have it.
I prioritize it with the long run. um, because the long run and the end game is what's going on in Gaza is going to be what goes on and is allowed across the world. As you can see, it's already having an effect of what happened between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. It's already happening other places in Africa, like Sudan. It's happening right here in the US. The further we let things go along, the worse it gets. So, okay, you bailed some people out, but did you show up for the people? Did you speak up for the people? Because even though she did back Kamala, yes, she did, but people were fed up already. And she wasn't going to she got the votes from the people that she meant to get the votes from. The black community came out in droves for Kamala. So that wasn't the point there. But if Taylor Swift would have spoken out and all these people would have spoken out, it still wouldn't have made a difference. And that's because people were tired of the system we were already in. So, organizing a protest and bail money, that's one thing. But when you have billions of dollars off of the people that pay you, have you seen? I paid the Renaissance concert tickets. I know how much they were. They were not cheap. So when you're
When
paying,
you say not cheap, how much are we talking? Like $200?
girl, I paid well over $1,000 for them tickets. Okay.
See,
Mm-hmm.
there's this thing, it's called YouTube. So what you do, you type in the name of her song, play it real loud, and just start. Ain't
That
no
was,
artist in
I
this
had to take
world.
my fan and pop it. I told you I was beehive down. So this is what I'm saying. Like if I'm that type of beehive person to be able to, I've seen Beyonce and I've seen Beyonce with Jay-Z on the Run tour. So I'm a real Beyonce fan, and I would pay that money to get that live experience because it is wonderful. There's nothing like seeing a Beyonce performance live. That was an incredible concert to me, and I would go again and again and again. But at this same point in time, when she is blatantly supporting somebody who is not going to do anything for the people, and all it is just, oh, well, at least she's not him. That's not enough for me, and it's never going to be enough. And then you're getting paid to say this anyway. You already got billions of dollars. Why do you need to get paid to say this? That doesn't make any sense. So where is your real community work at? When Jay-Z did the song, what was that song he did? OJ or whatever it was. And he was telling the people how they had to flip their money and buy up neighborhoods and things like that. I see that. Her and Kelly have done that. And I'm proud of those things that they have done. However, it's still an ongoing work. It's still an ongoing thing. And if you can have so many profiles on the internet and you know what's going on in these neighborhoods, because she has many ghost accounts, so she knows what's going on. Trust and believe. If you can see it, but you can't say it, what are you, Beyonce, afraid of? Because we need to know what you're afraid of, because that's a trigger for us, so we can understand what's going on. And if you can't tell us how to be safe, who's safe? Who
But see,
You're there. How we gonna know?
yeah, and I get where you're going. But again, I'm going to go back to my original point. And I still consider myself a community organizer, even though I haven't done much in the community organizing field as of late.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, I literally don't care. I don't. I got, I got, I got an electric bill. If I told you how much it was, you'd be like, how?
Mm-mm.
I got, and this is I'm gonna go somewhere with this, y'all. When you're talking to the people in Atlanta saying this is bad, and they say something like what I'm about to say, I got bills to pay. I can't get eggs. Why should I care that a cop city, why should I care that a celebrity is speaking out on something pro or con? You should not, in my opinion, and I know you're not doing this, but I'm just saying this to the collective. You should not need a celebrity to say, oh, this is wrong. You shouldn't need their support. Again, it's good that if they come out and say, hey, Cop City, y'all can do big. No, I'm not gonna tour in your city if you built this. That's a statement, right? Just say, hey, I'm not gonna make this one of my tour stops, because those tours bring in lots of money. But whether they do that or not do that, that's not going to stop me.
No.
That's not going to stop me. And that's what I want people to get. Don't let the celebrity culture get you to the point where you have to wait for a celebrity to speak on something like this. Because I guarantee with what you've been talking about, Cop City is coming to other cities in America.
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee they're going to have a Democratic mayor. Yes, I'm back to slamming the Democrats. That's what I do best. It's the world I live in. I do it better than anything else I do. It's going to be some, I don't like using the C word when I talk about black politicians that have sold out, so I won't do it. That says this is, yeah, because you know just the C word I'm thinking of. I won't say it because YouTube was like, hey, we can't ban it, but you need to watch it. So I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it. Right? It's gonna be some black caucus that tells us, yeah, this is good for the city. When it's not. Militarizing our police is not going to lower crime if that's the goal. And I don't even believe that's the goal of Cop City. I don't believe that's the goal. Because if it were, they would do like what you were talking about and talk about more of communities engaging instead of we got in an argument over cards, let's call the police.
Right.
That
Right.
I just don't think it's their intention to stop crime because they would do the opposite. You don't need militarization to stop crime. That's not going to stop crime. Economic opportunity will lower crime. Housing that's safe and affordable, in my case, I would say free, would stop crime.
Healthcare.
Healthcare would stop crime. If you provide those things, then people don't even have the need to go out and steal or plunger, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, I don't think that it's their goal to stop crime. I think what they want to do, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, I think they want to see crime increase so that they can build these prisons and put people in there and get that free labor.
Yeah, of course. Because I mean, why else would you do it? It's that's what it's built for. You're learning how to put people in jail better. That's basically what it is. And so it's like that's what they're going to do. But in the sense of the celebrities, I see that some of the people that we have in this country are apathetic to politics. They don't pay attention to it. All they do is circle the dot under whatever party they want to circle it under. They don't think about the person or what they did or anything else. They're like, nope, don't want to hear that. I'm going to vote blue no matter who. I'm going to vote red if I'm dead, or whatever it is that they say over there, because I can't stand Republicans either. But it's like that's all they do, or they don't vote at all. If you look at how many people that were registered and eligible to vote, they didn't vote at all. So when you look at it like that, and then you see celebrities talk about it, like a lot of people, the first time they heard Cardi B talk about politics, they were like, oh my gosh, yeah, Cardi B is talking about politics. When she started talking about the mayor taking away funding from the library, people started listening to her. And it's just like, okay, people are starting to listen to politics. I don't care because I'm already in this. I already know about what I want to do. These celebrity people are not going to affect me. The only thing that I'm going to affect them as is not giving them my money. That's it. That's the only part I care about. I don't want to give my money to people who are not caring about my people. But some people just don't care about politics enough to be able to not have to listen to somebody about it.
Right, because and I know you don't even live in what state do you live in again? I
North
forgot.
Carolina.
Okay, so in Cop City, again, it started in Atlanta, Georgia.
Started in Georgia. They're going to build one in California, Florida, Texas, New York. They tried it here. We shut that down.
That's what I want to talk about lastly. Lastly. Yeah, that's a word. What did you all do that was successful?
There's an organization called NC Block, and they made it so that instead of putting these things, they basically had a list of things that said, hey, we want to do this for our community instead of this. And if we are successful at this, we don't need that. And they've been implementing that in that area, and the city council agreed to it. So when I was saying, what are the things that you can do on these phases, they went ahead and skipped all that other stuff and went to the bottom line. We don't want them here. This is what we can do as a community. This is what we can do as an organization, and we're going to do that. And they have been doing that successfully. So with that happening, we don't have to worry about the cop city for now. Is
And
for now.
what city in North Carolina is it that they're wanting to build in?
Durham, and Durham has a high crime rate. It's because it's right beside Raleigh, which is the capital, and they're a heavily black populated area. So,
And I'm going to guess again, the mayor's Democrat. Yeah, see, I
mhm.
don't be wrong about this. Y'all be saying to all y'all people be talking about you just Democrat, the Democrat. I sure do. I sure do. Hit that unsubscribe. No, don't hit that unsubscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. But I do it for a reason because they prove over and over and over again. They will sell you out at the and Republicans do it too. But I rarely it's the last time I voted for a Republican, I was in my mid-20s,
I
like
mean,
mid-20s. So that been a while ago.
it's like the Republicans. They do it openly, so you don't even have to talk about it because it's not
Yeah,
like they're
they'll
not
tell you,
doing
"Oh, we don't want you to vote. You're black.
it.
Oh, we don't even want you in this country." Stephen Miller, I want 100 million people in the country. Well, if you don't sit your
And
nah,
see, the thing is,
blah.
you have to listen and hear what they're saying. They're basically calling for a genocide of the Hispanic population at this point in time, and nobody's listening to it because what they're saying is we're going to send 62 million illegal immigrants to Alligator Alcatraz or different places. There's 62 million Hispanic people in the United States that we know of. If you're an illegal immigrant, how do you know how many of them there are?
You really don't.
So, where did you get this number from? It's so eerie that the exact number you're talking about is the exact number of actual Hispanic people here. So,
And
you're
if
trying
it
to
hits
take
the
more.
Hispanic community, guess which community is next on the roll?
Oh, the indigenous community is already a part of this. The
No,
black
no,
community is
I'm
already a
talking about the
part of
people that
this.
look like us.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like it already happened to a black member, the black guy. He was a member of the armed forces, and he'd gotten out before all this happened. But he did get snatched up by ICE, and they were like, "Well, you don't have any papers to show that you're a naturalized citizen. Like, who cares around their birth certificate, guy? Come on now." So they put him away. It took his cousin to have to come up there with his stuff after weeks of him being there for him to be able to get out. They don't care about who you are. If you're not this skin, then you could be a potential immigrant. And if
Right.
unless you have papers, they don't care.
And that's why I wanted to talk about Cop City so badly because I know it has this racial overtone that I think a lot of people are ignoring. And if we don't keep our eyes on it and organize, it's gonna spread. I can imagine, although again, Indiana, I think less than like 10% of our whole population is black. We don't have a lot of black people. However, we do in Indianapolis, we do in Gary, we do in Evansville. What's to make the governor stop? Because
Mm-hmm.
in Indiana, I don't know if y'all know how this works. So there's tier cities, right? And a tier one city has to get the permission of the state to do anything.
Mm.
There's only one tier one city in the entire state, and that's Indianapolis. We're the
Wow.
only tier one city in the entire state. So if we wanted to build a cop city, we'd have to get the permission of the state to do it. I don't think the state says, nah, you can't build that prison of people. I just don't live in that state, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to think about things like that because at first I thought, oh, would never. And then I'm thinking, oh, yeah, it would. Because our governor, I don't know who y'all's governor is, but we got a doozy one here. Who we got a Trump lackey. Mm. I
Mm-hmm.
only child he want to be Trump so bad. I'm like, he outdoing Trump. I'm like, what? What? Cut Medicaid. Be on it for a year. But right,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I do want to have just one more point that I want to make, and then I'll have this kind of wrap up. Is we have to start being aware and take care of each other because
Mm-hmm.
it's obvious our government ain't gonna do it.
Right.
It's just not. So I want to see people build mutual aid projects. I want to see communities come together. And mostly, I want y'all to stop letting these Democrats play in y'all face. Stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Stop voting for them. If you vote for them, they're going to keep doing the same thing. They've never proven that they won't. Whatever Coca Cola says, whatever Chick-fil-A says, whatever Walmart says, whatever Home Depot says, that's what they're going to do.
And I don't go to them places. But I do want to add one thing before we wrap up, because I think this is something very important that us in the Black community need to know. Get yourself a passport card. A passport card is different from a passport. A passport card kind of looks like a driver's license. So you can carry it around in your pocketbook or your wallet. But that passport card can be your saving grace in any situation that you get involved in with law enforcement, because that does identify your citizenship, and it's going through the federal government. Even when they're trying to get the women to not be able to vote, that passport card or your passport will allow you to, but nobody carries their passport. Black people, people of color, go out and get you a passport card. Even if you never travel, I don't care. Get a passport
Now,
card.
how much is that card and how can they obtain it? Because I don't know the answer to either.
Well, you can obtain it. You can go anywhere as long as you have a white background. Take a picture of yourself. Most of the times, you can do it like at Walgreens or something like that. Then you would have to go through a process with the post office to get it. I don't think it's more than $250, if I'm not mistaken. And the passport card costs a little bit extra. Like, I think I paid 55 for mine. So those are the numbers off the top of my head. Please excuse me if I'm wrong about it, but I would rather pay that than to have to deal with anything else that could be going wrong, because at some point in time you are going to need it.
Now, the last question I didn't ask, is there a way that people who are interested in stopping Cop City from getting to their cities can get in contact with a Stop Cop City organization? Does that exist?
I believe that they're organized like after they get to that state, because there's not really a place for you to go to beforehand. But like I was talking about NC Block, it's NCBLOC. They have that. Not sure the actual name of the one in Atlanta, because they might be shut down right now trying to deal with their RICO issues. But since there are other cop cities coming to different states, I'm pretty sure those are going to pop up. But there's a lot of chatter about it online. People are talking about it, and I can encourage, and you can encourage in your party, and I'll definitely encourage in mine, to have something for people to reach out to when they need to talk about Cop City, because that'll be something that it could be nationally felt instead of just stagnant in one place or another.
Yeah, because it sounds like this is just moving and spreading like spilt water. It's just
Mm,
going everywhere. I'm going to let Marlon have the very, very, very last word. Marlon says, start to learn to take care of yourself and each other, but importantly, learn how to keep your mouth shut. Thank you, Marlon. Because every good thing we do for each other, the government will try to stop, and then he has it. And I think we can both agree on that.
mm-hmm.
Um, so everybody, I know this show rarely comes on, and I'm trying to bring it back. So if you have topics that you think that I should address on a Thursday show, you know what to do. You can put them in the comment section. Thank you all for watching. You know, I will see you Saturday at 2 o'clock p.m. for my Saturday special. I think I'm going to do, because my Saturday show is just a bunch of silly topics. So I will probably talk about, I can't believe they put this TV show on the air show again, because I left out some. because there's some doozies. And then, we have Justice for All at 7. Um, we do have a big old, 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 big old announcement. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. You're just going to have to watch. But it's pretty big. It's pretty big. But I'm gonna get your name wrong again.
Kalia.
I'm gonna get it right because I want to say Kayla so bad. Kalia, how can people get in touch with you?
I am Nerd Unicorn 21 on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter/X.
Yeah, because we're not friends on Facebook.
I see my Facebook be like it be me and my children and my son, and that's
Want to be my friend on Facebook? That's what it is.
I'll be your friend on Facebook.
That's what it is.
I love you. I'll be your friend on Facebook.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for agreeing with this to do this after my 4 times king. Oh my gosh, we ain't gonna even go in the. She was here, she sat down, she answered questions. Thank you all. I will see you Saturday. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, smash it, obliterate it, share this program, make your comments. Have a great day, everybody. I'm going to take everybody down and we're going to do the outro.